A very good morning to everyone. Respected Principal Sir of Rajdhani College, Professor Rajesh Giri, convener of Career Counseling Cell, Dr Urvashi Arora, faculties, staff and students of Rajdhani College, and my dear participants. At the very outset, I would like to thank Dr Urvashi Arora, convener of Career Counseling Cell of Rajdhani College, and Ms. Sasmita Mohanty for giving me this opportunity to deliver a talk on career opportunities in tourism. I consider this as an honor and a privilege. So, everyone, again, I am Dr. Shapna Medhi, employed as an assistant professor in the Department of Tourism and Travel Management in Sonapur College of Sonapur in the outskirts of the capital city of Guwahati, Assam. And prior to joining academics, like ma'am has already given my introduction, I have an experience of around 4 years of working in the travel industry in both Delhi as well as in Guwahati. So for the benefit of the students and for the purpose of this presentation, I'll try to draw in from my experiences of working in the industry and the career opportunities that are available in the industry and the slowly emerging ones which have proved themselves as a viable source of income and livelihood for tourism enthusiasts. So I would like to share my screen now. So before I delve into the career opportunities in tourism, I would like to take a couple of minutes from the students and the participants to discuss about the concept of tourism. This is important so that we can understand the encompassing nature of tourism and how it is related to many different sectors and fields, and how enthusiasts from all different disciplines can make a foray into the industry. So the word tour is derived from the Latin word turnus, which means a tool for making a circle. Then we arrive at the definition of tourism, which is essentially defined as the movement of the people from their normal place of residence to another place with the intention to return for a minimum period of 24 hours to a maximum of 6 months for the sole purpose of leisure and pleasure. So there are many people will be asking you, what do you exactly do in tourism? This was the question I often encountered when I was pursuing tourism studies way back in 2007-8. So, but then since then, tourism has seen a different movement. It has become a phenomenon where many people are now engaged in providing services to tourists who would like to visit different parts of the world. So tourism is essentially a service industry where we package the products along with the service, and it is the service mainly which counts. So the definition leads us to the components of tourism. In the PowerPoint, in the slide, you will see that there are so many allied sectors which come together to form the tourism industry, which is also known as the smokeless industry. We have accommodation, we have accessibility, we have attraction, that is the destination itself, the reason why people travel to a particular place, the amenities in the destination like entertainment facilities and other such facilities, and the other services which are important for not only the tourists, but also the local people residing there. So this itself gives us an idea about the encompassing nature of tourism. The involvement of people in the tourism industry may either be direct, or there are also indirect involvement. So drawing in from my experience of working in the field in both outbound and inbound tourism, I have divided the career opportunities in tourism into two main headings. The first will be the conventional, into three headings, The first will be the conventional, the second would be the emerging, and the third would be entrepreneurship, because this is one field which gives us ample scope for starting businesses on our own, which is the main idea behind entrepreneurship. So what do I actually mean by the conventional career opportunities in tourism? Anybody having a basic idea about tourism will ultimately make their foray into the travel industry, where tour operators and travel agencies are the two main organizations which absorb people in this industry. So I would like to separate them into the conventional career opportunities in tourism. Now, when I speak about the tour operators and the travel agencies, there are various functions that these tour operators and travel agencies do. They are just like the middlemen, which make a travel for a person smooth, affordable, and very easy. Because when people are traveling to a destination to which they have not traveled to, they would definitely need the guidance, the consultation, and the help to complete various formalities that are required to reach that particular destination. Nowadays, things have become very easy with online booking and online ticketing, and with the emergence of various kinds of softwares, and with the extensive use of internet. But still, people normally go to the tour operators and travel agencies to book a package which is hassle-free so that they can enjoy a vacation. So there are various positions in the tour operators and travel agencies depending on the types of work that they do. So a degree in tourism will give you the opportunity to work in the tour operators and travel agencies in various capacities. It might be a travel consultant, person who is responsible for giving the related information to a customer who has come to the travel agency to buy a holiday package, or to have any kind of idea about any feasible destination that he might travel to within budget and within the time that he has. Next option might be a ticketing executive. Now, what does a ticketing executive do? There are various kinds of softwares which help us in doing tickets for outbound travel, for international travel. Nowadays, again, the various kinds of websites like Make My Trip, Go, IBBO, Yatra.com have made traveling and ticketing easier. But still, people still flock to the tour operators and the travel agencies to book tickets on reasonable fares. Third, very interesting option is tour packaging. Tour packaging requires mastery and knowledge about the destinations, about the climate of the destinations, about the various kinds of options that are available for stay in that particular destination, which definitely comes with a bit of experience. But yes, what is important to be a part of the travel industry is ingenuity and the curiosity to know about people, places, and facilities in the destination. So you can be a tour packaging consultant, you can be a tour packaging executive, which will help people in planning a holiday vacation. So the other options that are available is the tour manager. The function of a tour manager basically is to lead a group of people various destinations who will be responsible for looking after the needs, the wants, the problems of the groups that are traveling in the destinations. The tour manager has to lead the group. They have to travel along from one hotel to the other, from one destination to the other, and they are solely responsible for ensuring that the customers and the tourists have a hassle-free stay. One of the most important departments in any tour operator and travel agency is the operations. While sales and marketing form a very important department for any organization nowadays, it is a very sought after job. The operations, who are responsible for confirming and reconfirming the bookings in the hotels, in flights, in the various other allied sectors, are responsible for ensuring that the tourist does not face any kind of problem, and that the relations of the travel agent along with the suppliers remain balanced. Very interesting job opportunity in the tourism sector is that of the interpreters. Now, the world has become a global village. People are traveling beyond their boundaries. People are traveling not only within their country, not only within their state, but there are more and more people who are traveling to places that are far away. And India is one such country which receives maximum number of inbound tourists. Inbound tourists means people who are coming to India from outside India, from UK and the European market. So in such cases, there are tourists who come to India and they suddenly face a kind of language problem. It is not that they do not know English, but sometimes there are also tourists who have very less idea about how to speak English. It is often said that Indians are very good in English, but then the problem is there when they are not able to understand or comprehend the Indian English because of the accent. In those cases, interpreters or the translators, they come into handy. So we have various kinds of various colleges and universities that are offering courses on foreign languages like Russian, French, Spanish, and there are many people involved in this industry as interpreters who guide the tourists and who talk with the tourists in the language that they are comfortable with. This becomes a source of income for them. Now, with outbound travel becoming one of the major sectors of the tourism industry, visa, information about visa becomes very relevant. And we will see that in most of the travel companies that handle outbound, that means who are sending people from India who are interested to travel abroad, there are people who deal specifically with the visa requirements, and they are known as the visa assistants. A visa assistant handles all the responsibilities for the client's visa. They will help the person with all the required documents to be presented for acquiring a visa. They will be the person who will be keeping in touch with the embassy or the consulate for acquiring a visa. So this the knowledge on visa is very important to become a visa assistant, and information assistants are there. And again, like all other industries, like all other companies, the sales and marketing is a very important part of the travel companies, because again, we have seen in the recent times that corporate travel is one of the major stays of the large travel companies, and they are dealing mostly in MICE, which means meeting, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. And we see that even in academics, international and national seminars are very important for people joining academics. So in those cases, the sales and the marketing team of the travel industry, they apprise their probable and potential clients about the products that they deal with in their companies, and they help the company in growing their customer base. So these are some of the various positions that one can think about, and these are very conventional. Once you make a foray into the tourism course, the basic thing that you are taught is the concept of tourism, how it encompasses various fields, and the functions of tour operators and travel agencies. So once you have read about tourism, the basic idea that you will start with is working in a tour operator or a travel agency which handles the tour packages or the holiday for their probable customers. So in all of this, one of the most important component that is very highlighted nowadays is the role of the tour guides. I have seen across my career spanning in the tourism industry as well as in academics, there are students and there are people who do not take the responsibility of a tour guide very seriously, but they are one of the faces of the tourism industry. A tour guide should be a responsible person, and he or she, it is not only the domain of the male nowadays, because there are even female tour guides who are emerging and who are responsible and who have the knowledge about destinations and who can handle clients very well. So he or she is a very responsible person. He is one of the crucial links between a destination and the tourist, because it is with a tour guide that the tourist will spend maximum of his time, his or her time. And the tour guide is immensely responsible for taking care of the tourist, of providing him with relevant information, of solving any kind of problem that might arise during their travel in an unknown destination. So tour guides, they are one of the most important sections, and it is not only, it's not important that a tour guide has to have a basic knowledge about tourism. I have met many people across my career who hail from various disciplines, like he or she might be a graduate or an MSc in science, in botany, in zoology. He or she might be a master's in history, in culture, in cultural studies, or or in literature. And then because of their interest and because of the profound knowledge that they gather during their study regarding a particular topic, they use this knowledge while interacting with foreign tourists who have the similar interests, and then they are ultimately known as guides. So the word guide, though it might sound to be like on the lowest rung of the hierarchy of the tourism industry, are the most crucial and are the most informative people. And yes, if we talk about the pay that they are getting, then they are paid handsomely nowadays, because the industry has realized their crucial contribution. So there are different types of tour guides depending on the interest. There are tour guides who would be taking you on wildlife tours, on birding tours, on photography tours, on heritage tours, on culture tours, on tribal tours as well, because Northeast India specifically and many other parts of India are specifically known as tribal dominated, and these tribal communities have their own unique culture. They have their own way of lifestyle, and this requires study and this requires knowledge. And when people from different parts of India or other parts of India or different parts of the world come to see those communities, then those communities have to be given a proper picture, and that becomes the responsibility of the tour guides as well. So thus we see that this is a very responsible job, and yes, it is a well-paid job as well. So now move on. After the conventional career opportunities in tourism, I would like to move on to the emerging career opportunities in tourism, which have made foray and which have gradually caught the attention of the youth actually. I have listed out some. This list is not exhaustive. There are many other which are still coming up, but I have listed out a name or that have carved a niche for themselves. Now the tourism industry actually is changing. It is not only people are not traveling only for mass travel or for rest, relaxation, or pleasure. It is not only traveling to a beach to enjoy the sun and the sea, or traveling to the hills to enjoy nature or a waterfall. But tourism has become more than that. There have emerged certain categories of travelers who are specifically interested in adventure. They are specifically interested in camping. They're specifically interested in understanding a particular species of birds or animals or even the insect, even butterflies. So various career opportunities have emerged in the present times, and this requires proper knowledge and proper handling. So one of the emerging opportunities that I have listed out is camping. Nowadays, the youth, even in India, we see, and even in outside India, abroad also, we see that camping and adventure has become a industry in itself. It is one of the most sought after activities by young travelers. And statistics will show that the youth and the young travelers are gradually taking up most of the tourism market, and they are interested in experiencing a destination in a different way. It's not only about culture or nature, but it's about adventure. And such adventure spots and destinations have come up. We have Himachal, we have Kulu where there is snow. We have various destinations that are atop the hills for paragliding, and Goa is one such destination for water sports. So camping is one big time, very popular young travel enthusiasts. So anybody who is interested in giving them the experience of a lifetime can think about camping as a career opportunity. But let me mention that we are still people in the tourism industry are still fighting with the idea that the tourism is a seasonal industry. It is an industry that runs on for 6 months, from around October to March or April, till when the weather is conducive. But yes, there are a lot of other activities that one can engage in, even in the monsoons in India, in different parts of India, in various capacities. But the best time to travel to India again remains from October, April. So camping, yes, it is a booming opportunity when it comes to career. I have also included certain photographs for the students to understand what is camping actually. So when we go camping, what do? We want a destination, we want a place which will bring us close to nature. We want to forget all the stress. And this is one camping site here just nearby to our college in Assam. You'll see the tents being pitched here, and this is the river where my cursor is. This is the river Brahmaputra, and on the backdrop this is the hills. So people have great enthusiasm for camping, and they will stay in the tents. But yes, when we speak about the tents, we also have to take care of their basic necessities like washroom, restroom, and other such facilities have to be taken care of. This is one opportunity that the youths can take up. Next opportunity that I have listed out here is adventure sports. Adventure sports have really come up big time, and there are various kinds of adventures like soft adventure and hard adventure. When we speak about soft adventure, we will speak about trekking and hiking, where normally most of the people in almost all age groups can engage in. But when we speak about hard adventure, they require a lot more practice to engage in those kind of adventure activities, like maybe whitewater rafting, paragliding, or bungee jumping, or mountain biking, mountain hiking, mountaineering, rock climbing. That will require some other kind of special inputs. So adventure sports here, this is a picture of whitewater rafting in Himachal. So we see here that tourists are enjoying the whitewater rafting, but where is the career opportunity? The career opportunity lies in the fact that the adventure clubs, they offer the opportunities for adventure in selected spots with all the necessary equipments. We have the adventure tour organizer, who will be a specialized person, who will be having the knowledge of such destinations where different kinds of adventures can be taken up. We have the instructor who will be along with the tourists all the time, the adventure tour guide, the equipment handler. So adventure sports in itself has become an industry, a part of the tourism industry. So birding, wildlife guide, wildlife photographer. Anybody having a penchant for understanding nature and with love for nature can make their foray into this career opportunity. Like I have already spoken, there are lots of people who have their backgrounds in science, in literature, and who have an interest in sharing this knowledge with people who visit their region, and they in turn would like to act as tour guides for that particular group. So birding has emerged big time in all the national parks and wildlife sanctuaries and reserve forests. Most of the times we will find people who are more interested in understanding nature and the various animals that inhabit that particular habitat. So birding is one thing. From my experience, we have handled various groups that have stayed in destinations in one particular national park for more than 15 days just to watch or just to document the birds. And the birding guide or the wildlife guide becomes a very important component here. So this is one career opportunity, and with birding or wildlife becomes a photographer. So let me show you another here. As you can see, this is me, and on the background, these are my students. And this person here, he is an avid photographer, wildlife photographer, as well as a birder of a wildlife sanctuary, which is located very close by to Sonapur. It is Povitara Wildlife Sanctuary, which is home to the great one-horned rhinoceros, apart from Kaziranga. So we requested his services to guide us on a birding tour, and he, with his photograph, gladly relented to our request and showed us around Povitara Wildlife Sanctuary, gave us information about the various migratory birds as well as the local birds that are available there. He spoke to us about the mannerisms as well as the habitat and about the specialty of those birds. So this is one career option. Then we have naturalist. A naturalist, again, is a person who will acquaint us with nature. Actually, because when we travel to regions full of biodiversity, we are surrounded by a wide variety of flora and fauna, which we don't understand. So most visitors do not understand the world of the plants, birds, and animals and their interdependence, which becomes very essential to understand why conservation and why nature is so important. This is where a nature guide a naturalist comes in, he or she will introduces the visitors to the natural world. So anybody traveling to any part of the world with a bit of love for nature will want to understand the differences between that particular national park or a wildlife sanctuary or a reserve forest or the geography or the flora and fauna and the other parts from where he or she is hailing, and any kind of animal which is inhabiting that particular place becomes important. So that becomes the role of a naturalist. Other very interesting career opportunities in tourism, our travel photography, our Instagrams, our social medias are flooded with such people that we know about who show us different mesmerizing photos about the lands that they have traveled to, and travel photography is emerging big time as a career option. Anybody with a photo or a camera who has the basic knowledge can become a travel photographer, provided he or she also tries to polish himself or herself with a course. So travel photography has emerged big time because these people are, their services are requested by various governments, by various organizations like hotels, tour operators, travel agencies, to showcase the beauty of their particular place. And the way they promote themselves, these destinations in the social media, makes the destination become a point in the wish list of any person who is willing to travel. So travel photography is one. Travel writers are very important because it is their feedback we read, and their feedback maybe we listen to while making our choices for traveling with our family or even solo. Nowadays they have tough competition from travel bloggers. These are emerging career opportunities. People travel and they blog about their travel experiences. We have now travel YouTubers. Very recently, a travel YouTuber was invited to Assam and he was shown around the entire state by the tour operators of Assam. So again, how interesting will it be that you travel to a destination and all your expenses are paid and you stay in the best of hotels, and even your services are remunerated. So that is a very interesting career option again. And blogger, we have gradually come to vloggers. These are the video bloggers. So they are also creating ripples in social media, and we see that social media has also become a very important tool for choosing any kind of opportunity, because we see various people doing various activities, and then they are taken up as full-time career opportunities in different times. So let me interest the students with a few photographs. This was done. Let me show you this photograph. As you can see that most of the people here in this photograph, they have their own camera, their binocular and their lenses. And this was one birding tour that I had taken my students to. And it was conducted by an organization, a nature-loving organization, and all the people here, they are nature lovers. Some of them are avid birders, but some have developed an interest in birds. And we went to a reserve forest nearby, just located in Guwahati. And as you can see, I have placed my cursor on a person. This person here, he was our guide. When I say guide, he is also the faculty of a reputed university here, and he is a wildlife biologist, but he has no problems guiding an entire tour and to share his knowledge on birds and birding and various kinds of species that are available in that particular reserve forest. So a birding tour. This is trekking. This is one kind of soft adventure, and even when we go trekking, there are certain rules and protocols that we have to. It becomes a very important person for us who will guide us along the way and will apprise us of the various do's and don'ts during the trek. And this is how can any actually lecture can be incomplete when we are speaking about tourism. And a resource person from Assam is not showing you the picture of the one-horned rhinoceros. This is the picture of the great one-horned rhinoceros. and Povitra, like I mentioned, it is a wildlife sanctuary. So here, my intention of showing this photograph is that when we request the service of a wildlife photographer or a naturalist or a nature guide to accompany us, he will not only help us spot, he or she will not only help us spot the animal, but will also apprise us about the animal's manners, about the habitat, about the ecosystem, about the numbers of animals that might be present. So he helps us understand the entire location. And this becomes a kind of education for us. This is the picture of a Gangetic river dolphin, which has featured in the endangered list of species, and it is in the Schedule 1 species. So again, this is available in the river Brahmaputra in very small numbers. There are around, I think, 2,500 to 3,000 Gangetic river dolphins in entire India as of now, and that is why they have featured in the Schedule 1 species of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So these are the various kinds of opportunities, the emerging career opportunities that have flooded actually the youths can think about. Anybody with a penchant for photography, who has a good idea about photography, can make their foray. Anybody who has a little bit of knowledge about a particular destination or the heritage and the culture about that particular destination can become a tour guide. So tourism actually as a discipline is not very old. It is very new complaints. So what do people do before that? They entered the industry, they learned from their experiences, and now they are doing good business in the market. But what I mean to say is that a proper degree or a diploma in this particular subject helps student to understand the basic necessity to make their foray, because now it's time for competition. And when you have an edge, when you have a degree in a particular subject, it will place you on a better position than most others who have to understand the basic of the industry itself. So now I would like to concentrate on career opportunities and tourism, which is the third and the last. And this is about entrepreneurship. So what is entrepreneurship basically? Nowadays, the government of India, and even because I'm from Assam, I relate mostly to the policies and the government from Assam, and even the government of India, they are laying stress on entrepreneurship because jobs, again, are limited in the government sector, and the private sector, again, depends on a number of factors. So entrepreneurship is one thing that organizations, that academics, that the government is placing stress on, because in entrepreneurship, what we do is, when I think about my livelihood, I also try to engage two other people in my business so that they can earn livelihood, and the chain goes on. And tourism has a multiplier effect. Like I already mentioned, there are organizations that are directly involved in providing services to tourists, as well as indirectly involved. So there, the scope of entrepreneurship is very high. The first thing a youth with a little bit of experience in the tourism industry, or any person with a little bit of experience of working in the tourism industry, can do is open a travel agency and tour operating business of his own. And this is one first option that he or she generally thinks. But again, there are various other sectors that he or she might make their foray into. I have mentioned here about homestay, which is the first in the list, because this is an emerging concept. And when people are traveling to remote locations, they are traveling to destinations which do not have good staying facilities. And people are not only, tourists are not only crazy about staying in the busy cities and experiencing the city life. All they want to do is go away into a place that gives them peace of mind, stay away from the din and bustle of the city. So again, we have to pick up destinations that might not be very good in terms of accommodation. So as an entrepreneur, what can be done is we can set up certain homestay facilities in locations which are very much frequented by visitors and tourists, with all the proper facilities. Homestay is very sought after by many foreign tourists actually, but we have to be very specific about the kinds of facilities we are giving there. The homestay concept is such that we have a home of our own. we have a house in a village or in a rural area or in the outskirts, a destination which is well known amongst tourists, but there is no good staying facility. Even if there is good staying facility, a homestay will be sought after. So I have a home and I have 1 or 2 rooms that I can rent out to the tourists who want to stay for the night. And I provide them insight into the culture, into the lives of the local people through myself. Through me, I provide them with the staying facilities, I provide them with the fooding and the lodging, and I give them the basic necessities like clean toilet, washroom, and restroom facility, and they are happy. Because most people, you'll see, want to experience the local way of living, the local culture. There are tourists who specifically ask for homestays in certain locations so that they can understand the place. Even governments, I know about Tripura, I know about Assam, and governments in different parts of India are also encouraging homestay schemes where they allot a particular amount of subsidy or they allot a particular amount of fund for setting up homestays in rural locations so that those destinations can also come up as proper tourism destinations with proper accommodation facilities. Again, souvenir shops. This is one tourism business idea that the youths or people engaged in the industry can think about, because whenever a person visits a destination, he or she would always like to take back certain memories. But in tourism, what happens is what we take back is only experience, memories, and photographs. But then there are relatives out there to see what we have brought for them. So souvenir role to play, and proper souvenir shops that can give you authentic, that can give a tourist the authentic things to take them back is very important. So this is one business idea. Transport supplier. We see that accessibility and transportation and vehicles are very important component of the industry, because without that we cannot move around. So there are few travel agencies or tour operators who will have a fleet of vehicles of their own, but most of the travel agencies and certain tour operators hire these services from a transport provider. So we can be directly associated with the industry with such a firm of our own. And local cuisine, when we are saying that there are many tourists, there are various categories of tourists who are interested in understanding culture, local cuisine plays a very important role to play. And anybody traveling to any destination who has a little bit of interest in knowing about the food will definitely ask the guide for the taste, the local cuisine, the authentic taste of the local cuisine. So such establishments are also very important career opportunities in tourism. Like I mentioned about interpreters, the translating services or people or firms that have people that can translate various languages, that can come up as a career opportunity. Cafe, restaurant, yes, they're always an important part of the tourism industry, because entertainment, food, and such amenities have a great role to play in promoting a tourism destination. And tourist-specific event management. There are many people, there are many tourists that want to experience the local culture. Sometimes what happens is that we reach a destination when a particular festival is going on, and then we are lucky to be a part of that experience or that festival or that cultural fest. But most of the times it doesn't happen. So when they want to understand the local culture, there are various kinds of fairs and festivals and dances that they would like to watch. So such a firm that helps the travel operators and the tour operators, travel agencies and tour operators in organizing such functions can be another career opportunity in tourism. So there are various courses that one can enroll in. Like I mentioned about adventure, there are various institutes offering adventure courses in India, like the National Institute of Mountaineering and Allied Sports. This is in Arunachal Pradesh in Northeast India. Jawahar Institute of Mountaineering and Winter Sports in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir, the National Institute of Water Sports in Goa. So these are certain institutes that one can enroll in to have a degree or a diploma in adventure and to really understand how to be a part of the adventure, because it involves safety of the tourists. Because this is a sport, people will go there to enjoy, and we have the adventure tour guide or the instructor has to take the responsibility for the safety. So this will require technical expertise again. When it comes to being a naturalist or or a birding guide or a wildlife guide. There are certain courses which are also available online in SWAYAM. And the BNHS, the Bombay Natural Historical Society, they have certain short-term courses that will introduce you to the basics of ornithology. Ornithology means the study of birds. So such institutes are there, such courses are there that one might enroll in side by side with other courses. And so actually what is more important in the tourism industry for being a tour operator, tour guide, or for being a part of this industry in any way is observation, penchant for serving people, so that we can offer the best of services, so that we care about what promises we make to the tourists and we can deliver them. And observation is very important, even in any field, whether it be a naturalist or photography or writer or any field that you are in, or even a tour operator or a travel agent, because one has to be in line with what interests the tourists or your customers and how to deal with their expectations. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation. I have kept it short, keeping in mind the time, and I hope I have been able to share something, or I have been able to contribute something to this national webinar on career opportunities in varied fields. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shapna, for a wonderful presentation.